And then just do you do this process? Do you do this like at a per project level, or would you do like an entire server installation at a time, or how would you phase it if you were to?
It depends, which is the ubiquitous answer, I guess. For, I think, small and medium-sized deployments, you can consider running it in one go, meaning that you would take the full local copy, every project, every workbook, and then press run on TabMove and have it being uploaded. But it becomes more practical to do that in batches when we're talking about larger environments. Because even though this is an automated process, you do need to move that content almost physically. A workbook is a file that you have to upload. So if you have a workbook with an embedded extract that is 3 gigabytes, then you're gonna have to wait for that 3 gigabytes to be uploaded. Now, of course, sure. If you make the right choices in your TabMove and migration architecture, that can be fast because you can have a cloud-based VM sitting quite close to your target, and then you'll have an upload speed of 100 megabytes per second. But still, there is some work to be done there, and then the batching helps controlling that and also helps the quality control. So after having moved a number of workbooks, for example, I'm pausing to review the results of that move, which I'll showcase in the demo as well. We have a few tools to do that, which is harder to do if you have everything moving in one go.
And then just finally, a couple of things we see a lot of is customers who've, because they've been deploying Tableau ad hoc, they've ended up with maybe tens of sites on their on-prem environment. They want to consolidate those into like a more rationalized project structure. We can do that in flight as well. That's all part of this rationalization that's happening in the middle here. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So you did also mention the opportunity for governance and for content structure to be reviewed. So yeah, we try to apply that because this is effectively a moment of change. So it is an opportunity to apply these things that will fit better with the environment going forward and how they want to handle it then. So yeah, merging sites specifically is a demand we got relatively often. And then we have a few options. They can be merged into top-level projects on your single Tableau Cloud site, for example, but then more specific solutions are possible as well through some mapping. And usually, that's just a conversation to be had with who's migrating.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Thank you.
That's all talk. So how about we try and showcase what this looks like? And I will share a different screen for this, which should be popping up now. And it might look very weird at the start. You should see 6 segments on this screen, 6 areas. And let me go through those and explain what you're seeing. It doesn't look very fancy at all, but I think it's the best representation of TabMove in action that we can give you. And it's also really, really what's happening. So to showcase this, on the top left, what I have is a Tableau server, our Tableau server at Biztory with a demonstration site that has just 4 projects. Of course, a limited amount of content for this demo because it has to run in just a few minutes. So these 4 projects, I have a file explorer open that will showcase the local copy after our first download stage. And then on the right, I have my target Tableau Cloud site, which is my personal data dev site, where the content will land after or during the second stage. And what I'll do is I'll use a neat little extension to automatically refresh this tab every 5 seconds. So we see things appearing on there as TabMove is migrating them, at least ideally. And for now, below that, by the way, I have what we'll look into, which is the run results in the run report from TabMove. I mentioned we need to do quality control. We need to see if everything moved properly. This will facilitate that for us. But before, I'll quickly show you that if I go into users, we just have the single user to start with. If I go into groups, there is nothing there. So it's a blank site as you would activate it when you start using Tableau Cloud. And then the 2 other bits we have is I'll reset the view on the bottom left. This is a small tool on top of TabMove. It's a monitor that we use that shows which TabMove runs are running at any point. So I have none running right now. One crashed by design, and a few were stopped. But you'll see on here, we'll be able to follow what's going on. And then the core of everything is the black square here, the command line, which is where I'm going to be running TabMove. So no fancy user interface for this demo. This is really just a command line tool that we configure with these mappings that we discussed, and then that automates every action that we want it to take to download and to upload the content. So the stage is set once more. I have a demo that does all of these steps. It first clears everything locally and everything on the site, which is done. And now we are already kicking off stage one. So the download going from left here to right. You see the monitor with this green, and the play icon indicates that a run is going on. And right away, all kinds of things appear here. Folders reflecting the projects, and then files containing the metadata that we need to know about. Projects contain workbooks, etc. And then right away, it's already kicked off the second stage, which is the upload. And it should, in a minute or two, be uploading the content to the target Tableau Cloud site. You will see the projects appearing. I might just also pull up the users page. But it is doing some preparation first. So within an upload stage, there are different phases still, where TabMove compares what is already on the cloud side, what is local, and what the difference is, so that it knows, okay, I do need to upload this workbook, I do need to create this user, etc. So I think it's running right now. We're seeing projects appearing. I think I might have a single user for the demo, so that's not a really good view to show here. It doesn't matter. We see the projects. And the command line, admittedly, isn't very fun to look at. It's really just a wall of text, but very detailed information surfaces here. So if something doesn't go according to plan, we have logs that we dive into to find out what happened. Maybe a transformation of a workbook, such as adjusting it to use Bridge, didn't go according to plan, so we know what to handle next. And that's important because this is not a thing we do in a single run. We will do this a first time, and then we will investigate what happened, what went well, and what didn't go well. And we will iterate to improve our configurations, our mappings, etc., to ensure that in the end, everything gets migrated so that we get as close as possible to the expected result with potential content structure changes, etc.
So you might run through this and find a few assets which couldn't be migrated because, for example, Bridge couldn't contact the on-prem data source, all of those, the extract refresh credentials can be updated automatically, and then you'll iterate to patch. Okay. Exactly. And that's why you've got this detailed logging going on here in the middle, so that you get a set of deltas and then you migrate in waves.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
This is not something we expect the customer who migrates to use. This is us controlling the process, but we will work, of course, with the customer using instead the run reports, which I'll show you in just a moment. I think I've just, so the demo loops, so it's just removed everything again, but you should have seen on the top right, the projects appeared. One of the projects was favorited as it was before, etc. So this is a demo designed to run forever. But I think, we've seen what happened. Now, more interesting is then how we review this. And I think I can take about a minute still to go through that. I mentioned quality control, the patching, as you said, Francois. We're not going to read through the logs. Instead, we have a dashboard here with a run summary. And I'm going to select the last run that we did, which we kicked off at 27 past the hour. So it took about 3 minutes to upload 6 workbooks, 3 data sources, to create 5 groups, 4 projects, etc. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm seeing a summary here at the top that shows me every asset type, as we call them. An asset can be a group, an asset can be a workbook, and then I can see the success rate for each of those. Now, it's the demo, so we haven't made everything 100% successful because that wouldn't be very interesting. We see, for example, for workbooks, which I can select, a rate where we have warnings for 50% of the content, a third of it went through successfully, and then there's a problem with a single workbook that didn't get migrated. And so I'll use this report to walk through that and start analyzing which things really require attention. For example, here I have the project tracker, which is this project, and as TabMove migrated it, some things went well. And I'm seeing these icons here, these circles that showcase things that went as they should. Like this step was the workbook was created successfully, so it was published. But then some things did happen, like a connectivity check for this connection to Snowflake did not return a successful result. And that's being highlighted here in this relatively easy to consume overview, so that I know, okay, something with credentials, this is one of the things we'll need to patch as we iterate and as we continue.
And that might be as simple as the user logging onto that data source and embedding new OAuth credentials for Snowflake, and then that's resolved. Okay.
Exactly.
So you're using Tableau as the reporting tool. So you upload these administration console reports directly to the target site so that everyone's got the like full audit trail of what's happened in terms of the migration on the target.
Correct. This lands as a Tableau report in the default project on the new cloud side, so that whoever's involved in the migration can access it and review whichever content they might be responsible for.
Okay. Great.
We had to do Tableau on Tableau, of course. So this is the process. We've seen the concepts. We've seen it applied in a very, I admit it's a pretty quick demo, but that should give you an idea of how it all works. So there, TabMove.